saw last game how much he can carry on that champion. So
yeah, Jarvan is also still available as well. So if something other than that Jarvan or the Rumble get picked up, I mean, Qlimax Crew could just grab that combo for themselves. Fantastic for these fights, but now going to be taken away. Lysandra is just almost a must pick here. But no.
Looking at Jarvan as a preferred.
I mean, still a really high priority jungler here as well. I mean,
yeah, I think undoubtedly
you can't fault him, but
you
it
take
is going to leave
Rek'Sai
out some strong things.
If you take Rek'Sai off the board, who is, of course, very new and just does everything so well, I think Jarvan is a premier jungler at this point in time. So definitely one of the strong picks, but just Lysandra with the amount of lockdown CC and the ability to go mid or top is just so good. But they do elect for the Jarvan, and it looks like Babbitt will take away potentially Lysandra. Wow, Lysandra Sivir locked in so quickly.
Yep, straight away. I mean, Babbitt knew that he wanted to pick up that mega power pick up there. Again, going to be on a really, really strong top laner, and Sivir going to be locking in that Sivir for Stealthix, so wanting to, you know, let First Mate know exactly how to make that champion work.
Yeah, and you know what? This might even play into First Mate's hands, because we mentioned about getting him on a long range AD carry. They can pick on Sivir so hard.
Yeah, Caitlyn pickup could come in.
Caitlyn, something like Jinx as well, just does extremely well against Sivir in lane.
And that fits First Mate so well, the playstyle of a Jinx.
Yeah, so look for something potentially like that to come through. Of course, Sivir does well against Corki and Ezreal, I was going to say, as they hover in Ezreal, Corki.
Maybe not the ideal pickup. But they're going to be hovering it for now. Can go into that mid lane, if anyone understands that, if it's going to be First Mate and Impaired. In Envy, Heaven's Curse has played that one before.
Looks like they're going to go for a Corki raw bottom lane, so a lot more aggressive this time around. Although, you have to say, Syndra and Sivir shouldn't have been too massive either in that, right? And I think that in this situation, Katie's more than happy to once again jump on something like an Arya. I don't think they're going to force him into anything else.
Unless they leave it to the last minute so that, you know, they can counterpick for Katie in that mid lane, make sure that you can't get too far ahead with a matchup that is just inherently in his favor.
Yeah, I think in that case you go something like a Nami.
Oh, ooh, wow. And the elites are still up, so Sybil could pick that one up yet again, but Rengar is his other signature.
Yeah, so just showing a little bit of a different team composition here. Maybe looking to just lock down one target and then get Babbitt in with all that bubble up CC that can come through. I like Rengar Lulu just because of the speed up that can happen and then the big knock up that comes through from that wild growth. So a very good 1-2 combo there. I think that will be Moon in the bottom lane picking up that Lulu, although we have seen it mid and top as well lately.
Yeah, it doesn't work too badly with a Sivir as well. You can use that Glitter Lance to help just constantly push out that wave, as Kassadin's going to be a potential hover here. And that is a matchup that goes very well in Kassadin's way in that top lane against Lysandra.
Yeah, it certainly does. Able to use his Q to harass out and absorb a lot of the consistent damage. Of course, Lysandra does have very big mana issues if you try and spam out the wave early game. So yeah,
you really have to use that passive to keep it in check.
But in saying that, Jarvan is also a terrific matchup against Lysandra, so if they do elect for a different jungle for Impaired, Lee Sin's still available.
Yeah.
They can throw that into the top lane even. But wow, looks like it will be Kassadin and an Ahri, so a very magic-heavy composition.
Yes, not really suiting this Corki pick too much, unless Impaired's going to get super aggro and build that Hydra Jarvan, which we all like to see. Slam dunking with that Cataclysm. It may not be the case. The answer, though, coming through anywhere. It could be the mid lane, top lane, jungle even. You know, Rengar can go into the support and top role. It's going to be Renekton, though, and of course, Rengar's not going to go support. I mean, that was
so that will actually be a mid lane Lysandra against an Ahri, you would suppose. Although, wow. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So they're swapped. Okay, so Lysandra, Ahri in the mid lane. I actually like the matchup for Lysandra. If the charm looks like it's going to hit, you ult yourself. If it doesn't, you ult the Ahri. Yeah. That's kind of the rule of how the matchup goes. A lot of lockdown CC coming through. And Renekton does extremely well versus Kassadin in the early game. 1 to about 8. Renekton is terrifying for a lot of these top lanes.
Yeah, almost against anyone ever. And this is before Renekton has got the slight buff that he did get in 5.1, so not going to be buffed a little bit with all that extra healing that he does get, the extra scaling. Of course, it didn't actually help him too much in the early game. His early game is still going to be the same. It helped him out more in that later stages, and I mean, Renekton's still going to be that super bully.
Yeah, and especially against something like a Cassidy, Renekton does very little magic damage unless you count his ultimate, I guess. So
yeah, the ticking Dominus damage.
Yeah,
not so much.
So no Wizard Lizard going to come out this time. But we'll be looking to get some of that armor penetration into his build early, I would hope, with a Brutalizer and look to try and bully this Cassidy around.
Yeah, we'll see whether he can make it work as well. I mean, you do get a fair bit of extra sustain as well with that Cull the Meat coming through. So if he manages to hit that on the Kassadin, as that one comes through, it's going to look pretty good. But Lysandra in the mid lane, haven't seen this as much, of course. Saw it a lot throughout the middle of last season, or was it the season before? Not entirely sure. I'm a bit old, but we have seen it in the past.
Yeah, last season it was actually, even in the Oceanic region, it was brought back as a counter to Zed by Kensty.
I remember that.
Yeah, didn't work out extremely well, but definitely what has had varied success in the mid lane. I personally like it a lot in the mid lane. I think it adds a lot of utility. Yep, Lysandra dives better than any mid laner. Dives, not dives, dives.
Oh, we'll see. It'll be one or the other.
So if you roam down, you can really impact the map with good, solid roaming, and also pushes out relatively well. So look for potentially Katie to be able to go in and affect other lanes.
Yeah, and I really like Lysandra as well against these slippery champions like Ahri, because you just Frozen Tomb. Press your R button on top of them. They're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, they don't move for a very long time.
They get turned into an ice statue that's generally fairly immovable.
In saying that, the engage potential out of this Symphony lineup is absolutely massive. We've talked about how they've got some very strong laners on Qlimax Crew's side. Jarvan, Kassadin, Ahri, Corki, and Braum can all fly at you at ferocious rates. And if Symphony are going to come out with something special and really try and brawl this one out, like we have seen people when their backs against the wall, they probably couldn't have picked a better team come to do it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All of them have these abilities to maneuver to a position. So it's not one of those situations where you have the Jarvan and he's just flag and drag, flash cataclysm someone about 15 screens away and the rest of his team goes, we're not there, buddy, and he dies. Because they can Rift Walk, Spirit Rush, Valkyrie, stand behind me, all to get there and get their ultimates and their abilities in the right positions to make this one work out. Because I really, really love the combination of landing that flag and drag, getting that knock up in the mid lane especially, and then Yo-Yo gets an easy charm. They manage to get those kills, but also in that top lane, you can come through with the Force Pulse, and then he can come in and get an easy knock-up. So it's working out across these solo lanes.
Yeah, and it's layering of CC that we're really talking about here. And I think that they've got a lot of CC that they can definitely use.
If they learned anything from Qlimax Crew last game, it was layering of CC is a good thing to do in that game.
It means you cannot move. But yeah, so I think that Symphony definitely have a good chase potential team. If they win some fights, they will, I guess, snowball and get ahead relatively early. And I think that they actually scale relatively well against what is a Renekton lineup. Of course, Renekton does have some troubles in the late game, becomes more of an absorb tank than anything else. Of course, does shred some armor.
Does a little bit of that as well, depending on how he builds.
Yeah, depending on how you build. But I guess the pick potential is always possible out of Rengar with that ultimate. And the scouting ability, Rengar's at his best where you've denied vision and you're forcing people to walk and check things, and you can really light them up with your ultimate and get that Bola Strike to CC them down.
Yeah, and you can get that extra speed from On the Hunt as well, so we're going to be very confused with Thrill of the Hunt and On the Hunt.
Thrill of the On the Hunt.
Thrill of On the Hunt has been popped. How many ultimates is that? I think that's 2.
Yeah, and then of course Moon going to be able to add some a knock up on there as well. So I think that Sybil will be fine the whole way through. Struggles up to level 6, of course, because Rengar just doesn't have that gap closer unless you're around the brush. But after that, look for Sybil to really take off. And I said that last time in a Champion Select for this specific reason, because then he walked into Carvin's jungle and killed him at level 4. So I hope I see something similar.
Hopefully it happens, because you've said it now, so we're going to look pretty silly if it doesn't. The other thing that I really like is the wild growth on Renekton here with Dominus popped as well. I mean, you get that AoE slow around you as well as that Dominus ticking for some extra damage and making your Renekton a little bit more of a super tank in that late game at the same time.
Yeah, and I guess the last part you have to touch on when you talk about Lulu is the augmentation she gives to your AD. And we've mentioned about how good Lysandra is against Ahri. Lulu's Polymorph is one of the best anti-assassin spells in the game. People jump at you and you turn them into a little furry, depending on skin.
Little dragon.
Yeah, for this time around. So yeah, look for that to really kind of mess with how Yo-Yo Youngie has to play this champion.
Yeah, well, exactly. And you're going to Spirit Rush in, and it's going to be really uncomfortable and awkward. But you can play around that one. We'll see whether Mikhail's is going to be brought out to really pop them out of that polymorph situation. I think that Aries going to have to focus on getting that, but it means that he's not going to finish his Face of the Mountain as quickly. It means that he's not going to get things like Righteous Glory, which I think that this team really kind of wants.
Yeah, they definitely want to get in there and mix it up, however.
Speaking
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, speaking of getting in there and mixing it up, we've got Symphony now on our blue side as we head into the Rift, and Qlimax crew on our red, already up 1 in this best-of-3 series. If Symphony manage to win this one, we are going to be going to a Game 3, which is precisely what we want. We want the excitement to be at the maximum level. That being said, we are unbiased, so we don't mind if Qlimax crew win this game as well.
I like the disclaimer there. As we see once again, the teams just fanning out forever together, looking to get a ward in potentially, but you do not want to go anywhere near a Renekton level 1, especially if he's taken that W.
Oh,
does a lot of damage.
Certainly does. There's a reason why it's called Ruthless Predator. Which just doesn't make sense for what he does with his little weapon. I'm not even sure what his weapon is. He just goes cha-ching ching, and like, how is that a Ruthless Predator?
You're overthinking it. As we see, just a little bit of a lull. But a very aggressive item build actually out of Babib. Has elected to go for a longsword and 3 potions in that top lane.
Again, they're just preparing for the search of the forest once more. Standing in their line of 5. Every opening of this jungle has been lit up.
And once again, at about the minute 25 mark, it looks like Sybil decides to walk around. This time he's starting the top side of the jungle, maybe getting some help from Renekton.
Perhaps if Babib is going to head over there, which he is.
And he ceded his position to the Kassadin. Ooh. So both junglers starting the top side of the map. Nothing exciting going to happen whatsoever, although hopefully Moon and Stealthix get something happening in the bottom lane.
And I just want First Mate to go back to his angry style of AD carry. Come on, buddy. I mean, you're on this hot rod of a little flying machine. You got this.
Don't believe in you. Believe in Max, who believes in you. As we see, actually, the push coming out of Stealthix, so looking to get this into the turret as fast as possible. First Mate and Ari actually juggled the aggro of that very successfully, so they lost relatively little health and will be able to
only lost 1 creep as well out of that shove.
Yeah, because they shoved it so hard, that's why, and they will be able to see us relatively fine under this turret, so nicely done out of Symphony's bottom lane. They've hit level 2 nice and early.
Yeah, and look at that. First Mate only just coming down to the AD carry roll, already managing to coordinate this last hitting under the turret so beautifully. Love to see it. Love to see it.
We see, even with that level 2, they didn't go aggressive, so they've given up their advantage pretty much straight away. Would have expected them to go a little bit more aggressive. Impaired just clears the top side of his jungle, going to go back, pick up probably a Icy Smite, and then, oh, no, he actually hasn't.
Oh, he's gone to Trailblazer. He wants to be farming this jungle over and over again. Get to that Cataclysm as quickly as possible as he just leaves his flag out there and drags to it when he feels like it. It's Sybil gonna get the Scuttle Crab. I love it.
I like this out of Sybil because it means that in the top lane, Babib can just pressure so hard. There's absolutely nothing they can do to get rid of that vision now, so able to ensure that he's up there. Also, a little bit of a counter gank potentially looking for there by Sybil, just making sure that this Renekton isn't going to be harassed in the top lane, can continue to push up and be a nuisance.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you really need to protect your Renekton as well because you're likely to shove in those waves over and over again because you're such a powerful laner, which leaves you open to these gank situations. And Sybil, even though Impaired isn't up here as well, Sybil is here for insurance, which is great.
Yeah, and that's what he's doing. He's just making sure that this Renekton isn't going to be harassed. Impaired, of course, going to take that Scuttle Crab now. These are very early Scuttle Crabs. If he just wanders up into that forest, we'll be able to see that the blue buff
is still up. I like how we talk about this like Scuttle Crab mechanics and tactics, Scuttle tactics.
Oh, Impaired going in for a gank.
Yeah, level 3 gank coming through for Impaired. That is actually going to be Winter's Bite landing on the move. One more auto attack's going to get the stun. There it is. Phosphorus bomb on the 2 members. The double knock-up from the flag and drag. And the Flash First Mate, First Blood. This is the man we were looking for.
Yeah, Flash is in for a bloodthirsty kill. Good work there from First Mate.
Yeah, he's back.
Gets himself up in CS as well as the kill. So that will be a huge confidence boost for the Symphony bottom lane.
Damn right it will. And it's about time, First Mate. Thank goodness. You're going to be farming out this mid lane as well. Oh, man, I'm reeling how excited that was. Babib Going to be pressuring still. The flask is available. Slice actually coming through. The dice is still available as well.
Wow,
Look at this. So much damage.
Forcing the flash out of Forever together. And when you don't, there are a lot of passive laners in today's meta. And no, there really is. Like Cassin and Maokai, all these laners that don't want to fight. And you throw a Renekton at someone and it completely rattles you because this guy is in your grill all of the time.
Oh, that's fantastic. A little bit of a pun there as well. Impaired's going to spot this ward, but he's not going to mind about it. Just wants to flag and drag onto Babip, see if he can grab a flash
Impaired
up here.
needs to be careful. Babip will do a lot of damage right now.
Kill him. Oh, the Slicing and Dyson going to net Babip and escape up here, and Impaired's just going to run away. Oh, Moon's coming around. Sybil does have the maximum fury here as well, and there's the W to come to flash onto the charm, actually, unfortunately, from Katie, and Youngie finds himself in a very uncomfortable position. Sybil, he can just launch himself out of there if he wants to, but they're going to donate the kill to Katie. Really nicely done to get him ahead in this lane.
Yeah, smart move from Sybil there. That's a couple of times he's actually held the button to not take the kill away from his laners.
And it's not the Oceanic way. You know, we just want to try and kill anyone, no matter who we are. All we're thinking about is killing people, but
once again, thinking rotating around the map very well. We complimented his Morgana play last game. Started up again on this Lulu, so great responding kill. As we see Impaired just farming out the wave. This would be where I would yell at you for taxing my minions and pushing the wave.
Isn't it normally me yelling at you? I think that's the case.
As we see, First Mate has a level advantage and about 10 CS in the bottom lane. Has gone for that Sheen first, so an extremely aggressive buy. On Corki, of course, does a lot more burst damage, whereas Phage more consistent damage and a little bit of defensive stats in there. So First Mate looking to get aggro.
Yeah, he certainly is, and I'm glad about it. And he's also farming up relatively nicely. Does have about an 11 CS lead, but Stealthix with a large wave. Just going to use that Ricochet in order to clear that one out as well.
For wards one more time. Once again, looking to take that Scuttle Crab. They're putting a lot of effort into getting Babip a lot of vision control as it goes in.
Yeah, but level 6 has been hit now as well. Nice use of the Slice and Dice in order to cover the distance that Rift Wall created. And actually, Forever Together trading relatively nicely here with this Babip.
Yeah, and able to even up the CS.
Whoa! Do you see the item buy that came in? Babip with a Brutalizer first up.
Yeah, of course. What else is he going to buy? He's a Renekton.
I thought maybe like a giant spell.
No, definitely have to go at least one aggressive item on Renekton. I actually suspect that the reason he's gone that over Tiamat is because he will also pick himself up a Hex Drinker.
Okay.
To synergize with his ultimate. That shield, of course, very, very nice. And MR, a great stat to have against these double AP comms, especially if they're running it with a Corki. So, yeah, I like the item build out of Babip in the top lane. I think that if you're going to play Renekton, you have to be aggressive.
Damn right. Damn right you do. He is a crocodile after all. Goodness me.
As we see Youngie picking up his buff. Sybil's still not level 6, even though he's got his first buff through. Probably will get it off this next minion camp.
Man, Raptors do so much damage pre-6. Look at this. It's ridiculous.
So a little bit of a tip for the Raptors. They do equal damage nearly in the little ones, but they have a lot less health. So generally you want to kill the small Raptors before the big one, just because of exactly that. Otherwise they just take all your health away.
And generally, guys, you're not going to be able to do as much without any
looking
help.
for his first gank with this level 6 now. Waiting just out of vision. Of course, there is so much lockdown potential from Lissandra and Sybil, and they can both fly in from absolutely nowhere. So, going to need to be extremely careful is Youngie. As Stealthix just farming out with that Boomerang Blade now. Very, very scared of the level 6 First Mate.
Yeah, has that potion popped as well. I mean, the mana potion that is in that bottom lane, so that he can use that as many times as possible. Thrill the Hunt has been popped here. Youngie might be in trouble. His final to try to come in the East there as well. There's a Frozen Tomb. Youngie, nothing he could do about that one whatsoever. Nice use of the bowler as well by Sybil.
Yeah, but 2 flashes were expended, I believe. No, just 1. So Sybil did have to use his flash to get in there, so... Actually, no. He'll take that every single day of the week. That's a kill. Youngie getting forced further behind. Now picking up the bottom Scuttle Crab as well, so... Sybil, the Scuttle Crab master.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's why I'm respecting his play so much. Just knows the Scuttle objective.
I think that's about 3 to 1. Impaired needs to lift his game in that category. And it will maybe even lead to the first dragon in about 9.5 minutes. This is relatively early. They will be forced off, I think.
Yeah, Ares coming out does have that Glacial Fissure available as well. This Dragon's
the
going down
teleport,
very well.
this
This
could be so
bad. Coming in from Babbitt.
It's the wrong way.
Impaired's going to come through. The 50-50 spot's going to be won by Sybil. Ares here as well, but look at the Cataclysm trying to come in and make something work, but Forever Together has to get the heck out of dodge. A double kill now for Katie, and they're not done yet. First Mate is in a lot of trouble. Youngi's found his way back in. The Dominant's about to run out here from Babbitt. And they don't mind. Qlimax crew have just set their going in. Back to the blue buff. Ultron's going to land on a Babbitt here as well. Forced to use that flash to get out of that phosphorus bomb. The flash after him as well by Youngi. And I think that Moon's going to be able to keep Babbitt alive. They're not going to fall down to the last tick of that Ignite.
Yeah, I thought that was a very late teleport coming in. So let's hit on it again. They start up the Dragon because they're it's a 4v5. The teleport comes in very early from Babbitt, a great teleport, and it isn't mirrored whatsoever. We see Impaired try and get in there and start it up. If that Forever Together was in there 3 seconds earlier, that team fight turns right there. Instead, he gets exhausted up, blown up. Youngi isn't there, and it's just a 4v5 for the whole time. I think that teleport timing was really off for Ever Together. And you know what? That's the main difference between competitive play and solo queue. You need to be so on point with your teleports and be able to get in there and help your team. Can't let Babbitt beat him there by about 3 or 4 seconds.
And I don't think it's also okay that Ares still has his flash up as well, because he could have flash Glacial Fissured and got it through that Cataclysm as well, which would have really helped lock down all of those members, because Impaired's Cataclysm was beautiful right there.
Yeah, it held up 3 members, and it was on the right side of Dragon Pit as well. The other thing that we have to point out is Youngi
wasn't there.
Being there would have been much better for his team. That's what
being not dead is a good thing.
9 times out of 10.
Yep. Rod of Ages almost finished up here by Forever Together, and you have to think that they're going to be scaling relatively well.
So it looks like Babbitt actually might just be transitioning into probably a Banshee's Veil. Maybe the Spirit just... Wow, Youngi blows up Sybil.
Getting caught here by the Winter's Bite there as well, and the Cataclysm coming down. Moon trying to do the work that he can, but the exhaust to come through. And Katie's going to fall down. Moon now trying to come back on this one. They don't want to try and fight him as Sybil falls down somewhere amongst that mess as well.
Yeah, so the double buff picked up by Impaired. 2 kills, a great turnaround from Symphony there. They're definitely still in this game. They have, as I said, they have a great brawly composition as Stealthic is pushing down this middle lane. Ari might have to just give this one up, I think.
Unbreakable going to be used just to stop all those auto attacks from coming through. Impaired's here, and Ari thinks that he wants to go a little bit more aggressive than he otherwise should.
Yeah, probably not a bad decision to actually go in there. Moon was running out of a lot of mana, and he used his Glitter Lance as well. I think that with the double buff, maybe could have turned that one a little bit harder if Impaired wanted to fight that, but wisely choosing not to.
Not bad, not bad. Clearing out some wards here as well as Symphony, and I think this is something that Qlimax crew have done really, really well, is their vision control.
Well, look how much emphasis they're putting onto it. They've picked up a Sightstone before they've got an enchantment on their jungle item of their jungler, so they're definitely putting a heavy emphasis on how this goes about. Babbitt actually being zoned off his creeps a little bit here. Needs to get some of that fury up.
Oh, nice Winter's Bite from Area after that stand behind me as well. Just asserting dominance in this bottom lane. First Mate going to continue.
But once again, First Mate, 30 CS up nearly. He's got a kill. He needs to be the one on his team that is really forcing the pressure. He's going to go back and he's going to pick up a Trinity Force completed whenever he would like to.
Impaired coming through, but not entirely sure what he thought he was going to achieve because he just went straight into his death. And this is what we're talking about. Dying's not good.
But the CC that can come out of Lysandra, she's 3-1 and 2 now, just doing so much work. It looked to me like
Impaired had engaged that though for some reason.
Yeah, he definitely did go in. Maybe thought Youngi could get there a little bit quicker, but underestimating the 3-1 and 2 Lysandra's damage potential in this part of the game. Has finished up that Morello Nomicon, will be transitioning into a Zhonya's Hourglass, and yeah, you feel that Qlimax just have much more control over the map. They're just playing the actual map a lot better than their counterparts on Symphony. And it's through their vision control and I guess their item pickups early in the game.
Yeah, that's beautifully well played. And this is quite reminiscent from this stage of the game in the last match. So we really need Symphony to get themselves together, especially in this vision game.
I think the swinging point is when they can get First Mate back for his Trinity Force. I think he has enough gold for it right now. He does, in fact. So whenever he can get a buy and go back and pick up that item, I feel that he'll really start bullying out Moon and Stealthix and be able to take control of the bottom half of the map. Because so far, they just have no control whatsoever, Symphony. Babip is having his way in the top lane, 20 CS up. Mid lane is going horribly.
And this is fantastic back timing as well from First Mate. 50 seconds on that Dragon. He's going to be back to that pit. You can see that they've got the wards there as well. And Yo-Yo Youngie going to be able to clear out these minions before that tower falls down at the same time. I don't know whether he should be back.
He's looking to pick up a DFG, and if he can get back in time and they can delay the Dragon, this will be a very important power spike.
And Stealthix backing now as well, so this could be the window for Symphony.
Yeah, so 30 seconds until the Dragon is up. A couple of nice wards down. Qlimax will be looking to maybe pick up the mid turret, then transition to that. Both teleports available, and you would think at this point in the game, Renekton will be much more instrumental in this next Dragon fight, unless another perfect Cataclysm comes in through his head.
Yeah, First Mate now completely on his own. Forever Together does have his teleport, as does Babip. Both of these top laners can be here within an instant.
Yeah, great vision control coming out of Qlimax as we see the line of wards just showing exactly where they will be. That Scuttle Crab Shrine has been picked up as well, so won't be able to get rid of that. And Katie potentially looking for a flank here, maybe.
They're looking for some kind of pick. Potentially has a gigantic CS lead. But the
teleport already came in through Forever Together, so they're just using it to get the numbers down beforehand. I think Pear takes nearly half his life from a couple of abilities, and wow, they've got it!
Oh, there's a wild card from Sybil, that's the combination coming in. The Foster's not doing a lot of work, Sybil's almost dead straight afterwards, but Impaired's the first one to fall down. Forever Together's going to fall as well, and look at Babip, he is a monster in that front line, and there is nothing Symphony could do.
Yeah, and wow, that was just a very confusing team fight. Once again, not much damage coming out of the carries. And second Dragon falling down. 5,000 gold lead at only 16 minutes in. Qlimax are absolutely running away with this.
Yeah, they look like a completely transformed team from last week. I mean, they got a little bit ran over by Sudden Fear. Sort of didn't look nearly as decisive in their play. I think they must have definitely sort of got together and discussed strategy, worked out what they needed to change, and actioned it incredibly quickly, because this looks like just a transformation.
Yeah, we thought that when Qlimax came in that their lineup definitely looks strong on paper. Yeah. But then after last week, we were kind of questioning what had gone wrong, but coming in this week, they've had two very, very decisive games so far. We'll see how they close this one out, but if they continue on this path, they're looking very strong again.
Yeah, and they look to just be supporting each other incredibly well. Everyone on the team, there's no real standout carry or anything like this. It's just solid play from all of the players and playing well together as well.
Yeah, and once again, in the bottom lane, I keep going back to it, but First Mate, 1-0-0. He's got the Trinity Force. He needs to try and be aggressive on Stealthix. At this point in the game, it's not good enough to lose the game slowly. He needs to try and get some work done and really push this bottom lane in. He will pick up the turret for himself, but I just feel that not enough is being done around the map for the carries that have some strength. Ari is in a strong point. Yo-Yo Youngie needs to try and roam and get some picks with this champion. Otherwise, the game's just going to fall away.
It's not looking too great for these guys on the side of Symphony. And Symphony, not Sympathy. It's a little bit sad, sort of like we're calling it already.
Oh, Yo-Yo Youngie has managed to catch out
miss the taunt, unfortunately, here, but Airy does manage to get his passive on. That's stacking up a couple of times, but Sybil's going to make his way out.
So tanky already with that Kindle Gem as well as the Sightstone and his jungle item. So he's going to be A-okay. Together forever. He's going to be moving around this top side of the jungle.
Yeah,
and Stealthix and Moon is going to push down this turret.
We mentioned this game may turn into Qlimax being outscaled because they have Renekton. But if you've got a 4-1-4 Lissandra and a 3-1-5 Rengar, at that point it doesn't even matter. They're just going to, as I said, they're going to be that far ahead that...
Not to mention the fact that this is a Spirit Visage Renekton for the next fight, and they could just win it there, because Wild Growth now is going to be making him even bigger. His own ultimate's going to be making him even bigger. So I really like,
and physically.
Yeah, I like it. I was mostly aiming for the metaphor.
And he is 50 CS up as well. He's just missed out on a pink ward. which he might not have liked it.
Oh, but meanwhile on the bottom lane, Stealthix is going to take down First Mate with a little bit of help from Katie, as Sybil's going to come around here as well, going to find Impaired and Airy. He's not scared at all, hanging out in this brush, can get his leap on if he wants to, but not going to opt into it. He's going to throw out a bowler and smack this
Overcommitment
wall.
for that bottom turret has led to, once again, another kill being picked up. This time on First Mate, Infinity Edge now picked up by Stealthix, so...
Oh, and the Brutalizer as well. So Qlimax crew looking for that gigantic power spike that you do get when you build up that Ghost Blade on Sivir. Yeah. So for the burst potential and the chase potential.
Sybil had been spotted out as well. I think they had the Brutalizer a little bit early for the last Dragon fight, actually. It was a really nice power spike for Sivir to go through. And we've been seeing this build pop up more and more, and it's a great...
Sorry, they weren't going for the Scuttle Crab, and it was confusing me, but they're going for the blue buff.
Pinkwood has been spotted out finally by Moon. They are looking to steal away from this blue. Forever Together needs to be careful in the top lane because he's being closed in on as well.
Oh, the Smite forced to be used here by Sybil just because he doesn't want that one stolen away from Airy, who had a Winter's Bite that may have snuck that one in, but it's okay. I mean, Stealthix may have wanted that one, but Katie was nowhere near that, so wasn't going to be picking that one up.
Yeah, and once again, look at the vision. They're looking for a pick here, waiting for them to sweep out that wall. We'll be interested to see if they go in. No, just decide that the next target is a top lane. And wow,
nice
Symphony
rotation.
playing into their hands. They're going up there. They've got a couple of members very far away. If they wanted to,
Stealthix may have been left high and dry.
Nah, definitely not. He's fine.
He's okay. He's okay.
Qlimax could have maybe even fought that. A minute 30 still on Dragon, so look for them to get some more wards. We saw how good their vision has been at strangling Symphony out of this game.
And they've just hit some really nice item thresholds here as well with that Spirit Visage being finished up. The Zhonya's Hourglass now available for KD as well as that Infinity Edge now onto Stealthix. So this is why they're moving around as a team, because they're okay with it. They've hit the spikes and thresholds that they want, and they want to capitalize.
Yeah, for maybe the next 10 minutes, they're definitely stronger. It's really until this Renekton will start falling off at his second and third item. When Castaning maybe picks up that Zhonya's Hourglass and some Sorcerer Boots, that they will actually be in a position to fight. And wow, Yo-Yo Yogi may be gone.
Oh, Sybil, Thrill of the Hunt has been popped. Yo-Yo Yogi was there for a second. Now he's gone. First Mate having to use that Valkyrie to escape, and Qlimax crew just made that look so easy. They just get picks when they want. There's a Ruthless Predator coming in. The Frozen Tomb onto Airy. That's the support, but they don't mind. They just want to kill someone.
Yeah, and they're going to turn this into, once again, another objective. Mid-turret falling. Right now, as it goes down, they will be able to rotate to a Dragon 30 seconds if they want to as well. Or they can just back right now and maybe even set up for another pick. As wow, Impaired doesn't want to let go of his jungle control, but this is so dangerous to chase this team out.
Manages to get the Raptor, so we'll be able to spot out some wards if he does head through somewhere. And Qlimax crew just going to head back to base. 15 seconds on the Dragon. This is a potential opportunity here for Symphony to pick up their first Dragon, but I don't think that they're going to be able to.
No, they have no back timing because Stealthix and Babip still hanging around would be able to poke off with that Boomerang Blade that we just see.
Oh, slicing and dicing over the wall there in the mid lane.
Impaired being forced to get the heck out with his Flag and Drag. His First Mate trying to be a little bit aggressive. Definitely better. Showing signs of life. But he's probably not used to being in this AD carry role.
Yeah, there's the Cataclysm onto Stealthix as well. Forced to use that heal, and that's the only reason it saved him. The Whimsy Shield going to be just enough to help keep
Dragon
Stealthix
is
alive.
now up. If there is a time that they can turn around and take an objective, it is right now. I think Dragon is the easiest for them to take.
Especially when Stealthix isn't there, has so much AoE potential coming out of this Sivir.
Yeah, this is really confusing play. They get not a pick, but they at least burn some summoner spells, make Stealthix go back, and they don't really pick anything up. They now see Babip in the top lane as
There's the wild growth coming through. Yo-Yo Youngie, you are dead yet again. Impaired comes and donates himself to the cause, decides in the end that he doesn't want to, as Forever Together's coming in here as well, so he wants to try and turn this one around. Nice queue over a lot of members. Babbitt's teleported down as well. Forever Together, is he going to be able to escape? The Riftwalk's available. He's going to get out of there, but in the meantime, in the back, Impaired's going to fall down, and Airy now wants to get out of here. The flash to come through. I think that was from Stealthix? No, it was Sybil just flashing to try and get a bowler out there, but didn't actually happen. Bowler. Allow me to be a little bit more politically correct there, as they are. Qlimax crew going to rotate around to this Dragon and pick up yet another one.
Yeah, so it looks like they will be able to secure another objective. In the meantime, Symphony did pick up their first turret of the game. But this has just been a confusing showing out of Symphony. It looks like their attention has been very split. Their laners are falling very far behind. Yo-Yo Youngie is nearly 100 CS behind Katie at this point. And wow, nearly 3,500 gold advantage.
And that's all sitting in Babbitt's back pocket right now as well. That guy's sitting on about 3K. So he's just going to make himself an even
Katie is on nearly 11,000 gold. The next highest on the map is 8.5. Just let that sink in for a moment. This guy is like millionaire rich, and it is really showing in his item build.
He certainly is. He could be a rapper with that kind of money. Write music about it, about his big house and whatnot. As we do see Babbitt heading back, picks up those Mercury's treads and the makings of what looks like a potential Sunfire Cape, which I don't necessarily like, but it's okay. He can build that if he feels like it. Giant's Belt and Chain Vest are going to be there.
In this situation, I actually don't mind the Sunfire Cape. They realize that they've got a timer on this game. They're very far ahead, don't get me wrong, but he will start falling off. So build for the mid game. They're very far ahead. Just try and snowball it, finish as early as possible. Look for him to get his split push on because, yeah, let's face it, there is no way Forever Together can go anywhere near this Renekton at this point in the game.
I don't think anyone can go anywhere near this Renekton unless you're on his team. Like, we might have some defections happening. Through here. No, don't take me. It's a white flag. White flag. Sybil now waiting in the wings. Does have that ultimate available if he wants to.
He's going for it. It has been popped.
Thrill of the Hunt has been used. Is able to run through this.
Jumps onto Impaired. He gets immediately blown up. Look at the Wild Growth coming here through, but Katie's going to die straight away, and that might be the turnaround possibility here for Symphony, but no. Look at these guys. First mate's still alive, but Babbitt, he's not taking damage. This is ridiculous. Forever Together is finally here, but that could not have gone better for Symphony.
Yeah, that was a 3 for 2 in a 4v5. That was absolutely massive coming through. They'll also be able to pick up a turret. In the end, Katie wasn't able to get his Zhonya's or his ultimate off, and I think that's what really turned the fight. Yeah, Insta-Charm blown up, and that's from Impaired, recognizing that he was definitely going to die, but going in. Yep. Pulling the trigger and getting aggressive, and that's fine. That's what we've been asking from Symphony for the last game and a half, to just pull the trigger and make some action happen. Maybe some good things will come from it, and that's definitely a good team fight for them. Maybe putting them on the right track.
Yeah, and First Mate getting some numbers in his scoreline as well, now 1-1 and 3, so has been involved in some stuff around the map, which is definitely what he's got to start doing a little bit more of. 1,900 gold now sitting in his back pocket, needs about 2,200 to pick up that Infinity Edge if he wants to, but can grab some components here as well as he sells that pot and picks up that Cloak of Agility as well. So very, very close to that Infinity Edge.
Yeah, certainly is. On the other side of the rift, however, Stealthix has picked up the Infinity Edge, and now the Youmuu's Ghostblade.
Oh, yeah.
Got a red elixir for himself as well, so going to be healing for some of that AD damage, I believe is what that red elixir does.
It does do a little bit of that, gives you a little bit of that AD damage power as well, the damage power, AD damage power.
So it is, of course, 25 AD as well as some healing that comes through from it. Probably a very good item on this Sivir because of how much AoE can go across a team fight, so we'll be keeping her relatively healthy. As we see once again the pick being set up, Sybil now with the ultimate again off cooldown, looking to get in there and mix it up one more time.
Yeah, and Yo-Yo Youngie now with the Zhonya's Hourglass completed as well. And this could be a really big deal for these guys because it means that he may not necessarily get caught out quite as often and as impactfully as he has been and just eliminated.
Eric is actually walking up, and so is Forever Together. They didn't know that First Mate had gone back to buy, otherwise I'm sure they would have pulled the trigger on that team fight. And the charm does land. You just see how tanky this Renekton is.
Yeah, and that really didn't last very long as well as that tenacity from those Mercury's treads.
Ooh, Sybil's going in. The Hunt has been popped here yet again. The Whimsy's on him as well. He's so fast running into this backline, but straight away, that's a fantastic goal coming out of Eri. They're trying to turn this one around, but you can see the burst damage coming through. Katie's just doing work. If he doesn't get killed, then it is so hard for them to win. Forever Together, gonna have to get himself the heck out of here, and the same strategy didn't quite work out this time.
Yeah, and it was because they had the numbers advantage this time. Forever Together, very late once again on the teleport.
Oh, Babbitt got caught back in
with his pants down. That's not what you want to see.
That is why you do not hit P until you're inbound.
We've all learned a valuable lesson this day.
P is, of course, a shot, but able to pick up, I guess, a kill there for absolutely nothing. A little bit lazy coming out of the top laner, and a redemption kill, they will be able to get some control around the Dragon area, so that's good news for Symphony.
Yeah, 1 minute and they have an opportunity to get that first Dragon for themselves, which is going to be so important. They pulled this gold lead back just a little bit, now sitting at about 7,500. So hopefully,
or 7,500 for those that can actually speak English at
what's
home.
wrong with 7,500? That makes sense, doesn't it?
As our whole production crew laughs at that. Looks like this game is slowly falling away from Symphony.
Sort of like my brain is away from me.
They have got good control over the bottom side of the map now. I think that it's just to the point where this Lysandra is getting ridiculously far. Picked up another needlessly large rod. Sybil will be looking to get that ultimate in there, and I guess most importantly, the teleport is up for Babip, so they can send him into this top lane, force down with turret after turret, make someone go respond, and then just pick up whatever they want. Although Dragon is up in 5 seconds, so he might be there for that.
Yeah, looking to try and grab this one. Symphony do have the timer. They're here now, so are going to be able to pick up potentially their first Dragon, which is so important, as we mentioned.
Qlimax knows this is going to teleport. Hunting his way in. They do manage to get the Dragon, but is it going to be too much? We'll see whether the Qlimax can turn this one around. Katie utilizing that ultimate to try and get through, but Zony's Hourglass is coming through as well. Babip just getting the double knockup with that wild growth as well. First mate is going to survive, but my gosh, this Qlimax crew lineup are just smashing Symphony so hard in these fights.
Well, the good news is they got the Dragon. The bad news is that they lost 2 people and potentially their mid inhibitor, so I don't think they'll be happy with the trade.
They got their best, but they lost the game.
I think that's the first Dragon.
Yeah, they got their first Dragon.
Yeah, so that's good. Yeah, let's look on the bright side. As the inhibitor turret falls, nothing they're going to be able to do about that one. An inhibitor will be sure to follow, and you think that at this stage, Qlimax will probably just turn towards probably bottom lane or maybe even the Baron to be able to build their lead even
wants
further.
To run. Pops that Ghost Blade. So
well, he saw what happened to Babip last time. He wants to be as far away from the base before he backs as possible. Might even just run to the fountain.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to happen as Babip gets a couple of pink wards for that one slice, which I very much like. I don't think you can slice through walls, so he's not going to be able to dice his way out of there either, so it's a little bit unfortunate. First mate going to be clearing out the red buff. 1-1 and 4 now on this guy, so not looking too bad.
Yeah, he's had a much better showing this time around. He's got 5 of 8 kill participations. I do think he needed to go a little bit more aggressive earlier on in the game. It kind of had slipped away from them when he did start playing that aggressive Corki that we've seen. But
yep.
And in the end, this is what happens when you pick a scaling lineup like a Cassidy into something as early game as Renekton. They can just run all over you. And Sybil might now be looking for maybe forever together in the top lane.
See if he can lock down this Renekton. The
Still Hunt's been popped. Is he going to be able to get the stun? He is going to get it. There's a flash immediately after the Rift Walk, and Katie coming in because
he needs to have something to do with every single kill that's happened on this map.
Yeah, 20 out of 20. I hadn't even noticed that till you brought it up. Katie, an absolute monster on Lysandra. This is going to mean that the Baron is started up with Babip in there and Sybil. They won't even take damage from this one, and it's falling so quickly.
Certainly is. Sybil's so tanky, as is Babip, and Stealthic's just able to just do so much damage with that extra BF sword now on top of already having that Ghost Blade and the Infinity Edge. So looking huge on this Sybil, 4-1 and 11.
And what a turnaround from Qlimax week to week. We touched on it. They definitely didn't look themselves against Son of Fear.
No.
We're forced to play an uncomfortable game, but this time they've come in, they've put Katie on an assassin first game and what is now an assassin second game if we look at how he's playing this Lysandra, and really just being able to, I guess, have a much better showing. I think Katie and Stealthix have really stepped up their game.
Not to mention Moon and Sybil's synergy with this Rengar and Lulu and the ultimates that they're using.
Yeah, but I don't think Sybil and Moon were really the problem last week. I think that it is their AD and their mid lane are really stepping up their game. I think that Sybil played quite solid even last week. And yeah, his Rengar is just terrifying. He's one of the best Rengars in the region.
You're getting collapsed on here, but I think he's going to make it out safely. He is. As we're going to have Qlimax crew just doing their best to get around to the rest of these objectives. Now they have that Baron through. The hunt has been popped. They're looking for a picky. Ares going to be the one to get caught out. You got chosen, buddy, and you're going to be going down there. Unbreakable's not unbreakable enough, as Sybil's actually going to launch himself onto first mate here as well. Impaired's going to be the next option. Together forever.
Katie just takes away Youngie. I don't know where that even came from. Impaired went the wrong direction there as well.
Fortunately, his map got a bit screwed up. Gonna have to contact Google on that one, I think, because he's gone the wrong way, and he's getting hunted.
Yeah, I don't even think they're going to bother chasing him down. They'll just be able to pick up the bottom turret, although Sybil looks slightly interested in the prospect.
Yeah, maybe. Impaired walking over
And
a
well,
wall there
the
as well.
burst damage that came out of Katie in that team fight was absolutely disgusting.
I didn't even see what happened, but Youngie was dead, so I assumed that was Katie's work.
Certainly was. And Sybil launches in, able to heal himself up. They take down another turret. They've still got that Baron buff ticking, but they will decide to back off.
Yeah, they've got the mid inhibitor. I don't know why they're necessarily back. Maybe wanting to pick up some items, get some extra health back. No need to be overly aggressive as the... Actually, it's a nice pickup here in the magic resist department for Stealthix. Has that Spectre's Cowl now building towards the Banshee's Veil. Not even caring about whether he gets a Last Whisper or not, even though there is a Randuin's Omen on Impaired.
Yeah, and I think that the reason that they're playing it so safe is just because of the fact that there is so much at stake. So why not just take it back, play it slow, wait till the inhibitor respawns and play this one tutorial style, take out everything they possibly can and just move in for the win.
Yep, they are doing that. And Stealthix and Code heading up to the top lane. It's the last remaining inner turret, so unsurprisingly enough, they are going to be heading up here just to make sure that they can get that one off the map as well. So getting rid of everything that they can before they try and break down the bottom and top doors of this map. As well, the hunt has been popped here by Stealthix. They want to try and get a catch. They're just going to run straight into the base. Look at this turret fall. That inhibitor is going to do exactly the same thing. And Qlimax crew they switch it on, and Symphony
It's their last chance. Katie's doing so much damage here. Babip in the front line here as well, and Impaired just gets obliterated straight away. Together forever as well. Look at the AoE potential. Ares about to fall down. The Ripwalk, it was just enough to get Together Forever to safety. It's only a couple of members down, but Qlimax crew just making Symphony rethink their decisions.
And wow, Stealthix coming up massive. Wow, we see Together Forever actually going in.
Oh, Babip, you might be in trouble, buddy. He certainly is. He understood it as well because he got a little bit aggressive towards the end, but his life traded for a couple of inhibitors and a couple of turrets is definitely going to be worth it as they head back to Dragon once again for their fourth now of the game.
Yeah, able to pick up another Dragon. You would have to think that with how this game is going, after that they'll just walk down the bottom lane, push them in, wait for the super creeps to be in the base and then just take it from there. Qlimax looking so much stronger.
They certainly are, and it's just amazing how polarizingly different this lineup looks. They're so together, they're so focused, they know exactly what they want to achieve, and they're just doing it so well, and it's just great to see it out of these guys because they showed so much promise last year and were just slightly pipped at the post.
Yeah, as we see, just picking up some buffs on the side of Symphony, maybe looking for one last heroic stand.
The last hurrah of Symphony.
Right out with them at dawn.
Yep. The final song on the album. So bad. So bad.
I'm just not touching the music buds. They're so horrible.
Someone's got to do it, mate. Someone's got to do it.
I just wish I wasn't here. As we see them once again moving into this bottom lane, they're looking to take out the last inhibitor of the game.
Yep, the last inhibitor turret. There's still a turret on the map, guys. That's not a Nexus turret, so they have to be taking that one first. Forever Together does know that. So he's ready and waiting. Is Moon getting a bit of farm?
So here it is. The waves have been pushed out a little bit. Symphony maybe have about 15-30 seconds to make a decision on when they want to go, because there is no question at this point in the game, they have to go before the minions are in their base. Probably one more wave will spawn, and then at that point, their Impaired has to just pull the trigger on something massive.
Yeah, and they're gigantic stacks of minions here as well, streaming into the base. As we can see in the top wave, there's a couple of super creeps, and then there's a couple in the mid as well. So Qlimax crew playing it patiently, know that they can just keep clearing these waves until they can pick up the 4v5 situation.
And now it's too late. The inhibitor, The Nexus turrets are under fire. Sybil's going in, and this will probably be game.
Welcome to the Iron Slurry on the hunt and through the hunt have all been popped now as well, as everyone doesn't want to get jumped on. They're just going to wait for that turret to go down. Cataclysm under just Sybil here as well. Babbitt slicing and dicing his way into the back line. Theory now trying to play frontline, but he's not tanking enough. Impaired coming in as well. He's not dying quite as quickly. But my gosh, Qlimax crew have so much damage, and everyone is so scared on the side of Symphony. They're all running. Babbitt does fall down first when he picks up that kill, but Katie just annihilating the mid laner there. And this Nexus is just getting torn to shreds. And Qlimax through with a glorious 2-0 victory.
Yeah, Katie took offense to something that Yo-Yo did, because he just was ulting him every team fight and deleting him off the map. Fantastic series coming out of Qlimax, able to 2-0 Symphony, who we thought were going to be a good team coming through. They had their moments, but just all in all, maybe the roster swap it's in a little bit of a disadvantage.
Yeah, it's so difficult to fill a role with someone that's not actually been practicing that role as well.
Especially when you're replacing Mizui, who is probably one of the better members of the team.
Yeah, plus what it does to you mentally as well, because they hadn't really tested this out in a competitive scene. It's a change up, and as soon as there's a change, you're not confident in what you're doing as well. So it's just a little bit unfortunate that Mizui left the team and left sort of Symphony in a little bit of a lurch there for that matchup.
Yeah, and it looked like they were trying to play way too late game. I actually think we have a replay coming up of one of the Dragon fights that just shows exactly how they were trying to play, I guess, the middle of section of that game. So as we set it up, we have Babib in the top lane, and this is what really changed the game. So if we just roll what comes through here, they're trying to actually start up the Dragon. Yeah, they think that they got the early teleport in from Forever Together, and they are the ones that want to go. But what they don't know is there's going to be a flank from Renekton, and when they go in, Sybil just absolutely pops everyone up, and they obliterate this team fight. That Frozen Tomb just does so much work. Babib is an absolute monster on the backline, and from there, they just slowly lost the game. They were always the one playing reactionary. Qlimax were always the people engaging on them, and when you play proactive League of Legends, it's just so much easier to not make mistakes, and Symphony just made too many mistakes playing reactively.
Yeah, and that was both of the carries, the damage dealers that survived that fight as well. So Qlimax managing to tear through the tanky members of the team like they were butter in that fight, and they were just focusing the players, and you saw how chaotic that fight was. I mean, these guys do it messy when they're battling one another, but able to pick their targets really, really well, methodically go from one to the other, just remove them, and then as soon as there's no front line, what's a Corki and Ari going to do? They're just going to die if they try and run into these really tanky guys.
Yeah, exactly right, and that's what I mean. If you're moving forward, it is much easier to win those fights, but unfortunately, he's just not able to get it done.
Yeah, so unfortunately, that is the last we're going to see of Symphony. As far as moving into the OPL is concerned, they might be back for the next OCS competition. I really hope they do. But congratulations to the Qlimax crew. They are through to the next round of games across the lower bracket, so still one more test for those guys.